Feeling drained and overwhelmed? Tired of saying yes when you really want to say no? Then this is for you, because every time you say yes just to keep the peace, you trade your own peace for someone else's comfort. And that trade, it adds up. They told you yes was polite, that it makes you likable, agreeable, safe, that saying yes meant you were a good person. But here's the truth. Every yes you give without alignment costs you something. Your time, your focus, your self-respect, and your path. You're not exhausted because life is too heavy. You're exhausted because you're carrying what was never yours. You're tired because you never stop giving. Not from abundance, but from depletion. And you've learned to confuse burnout with normal, to confuse people-pleasing with peace, to confuse your silence with kindness. But silence isn't always kindness. Sometimes it's fear. Fear of being disliked, fear of confrontation, fear of boundaries. But boundaries aren't walls. They're doors you open with intention. And that door doesn't open for everyone anymore. Every time you say yes to someone else's urgency, you say no to your own rhythm. You say no to your quiet, your creative space, your self-discipline. You say no to progress that no one else can make but you. And most people, they're not trying to hurt you. They're just used to your access. You gave it freely because you thought being available was the same as being valuable. It's not. You were never meant to live your life on call. You are not a vending machine. You are not a yes man. You are not a sponge for other people's noise. You are allowed to protect your path, to reserve your time, to stay unavailable for things that don't align with your direction. Because every yes you give to misaligned demands is a no to yourself. And if you say no to yourself enough times, you start to disappear from your own life. So here's the shift. Don't get louder. Get clearer. Say no when it pulls you off course. Say no when your body says, "This isn't it." Say no when someone's convenience asks for your sacrifice. Because no isn't rejection, it's protection. You don't owe everyone your time. You owe your future your attention. Say no now so you can say yes to the life that's waiting for you to return. You know the feeling, the moment you're about to say no, but it catches in your throat. You hesitate. You soften your voice. You over-explain. You say maybe. I'll try. Let me see. But inside, you already know the answer is no. You don't want to go. You don't have the time. You don't feel aligned. But you're afraid. Afraid of letting someone down. Afraid they'll think you're selfish. Afraid they won't like you anymore. So you say yes, again. And just like that, you betray yourself for the illusion of peace. Because that's what guilt does. It disguises itself as kindness. It makes you believe that other people's comfort is more important than your clarity. But that's a lie. And every time you accept it, you trade your strength for someone else's approval. You become reliable for everyone but yourself. And what's worse, you get good at it. You become the one who's always there. The one who never says no. The one who can handle anything. But inside, you're crumbling. Because while you're holding everyone else's weight, you're dropping your own. Your goals, your rest, your discipline, your identity. And eventually, the world forgets to ask what you want. Because you trained it that way. You taught people how to treat you by never drawing a line. And now you're drowning in things you agreed to while the real you fades into silence. So let's be clear. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you real. It draws a line that says, I will not trade myself for your approval anymore. Because every yes that violates your truth is a no to your self-respect. And the more you abandon your boundaries, the more you teach yourself that your needs are negotiable, that your peace is optional, that your life belongs to everyone but you. But you're not here to be used. You're here to be whole. You're not here to constantly prove your worth by overextending yourself. You're here to protect your space so you can move with clarity. So next time the guilt rises, pause, breathe, and remember, you can say no without anger. You can say no without guilt. You can say no and still be a good person. Because no is not a rejection of others. It's a return to yourself. You don't owe everyone access. You don't owe everyone energy. You owe yourself the truth. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is the one thing that finally sets you free. No. There's a moment in every life when the noise gets too loud to ignore. The requests, the check-ins, the endless stream of obligations that have nothing to do with who you are, and everything to do with who you've been pretending to be. You've become the fixer, the dependable one, the person who always says yes, and for a while that identity served you. It gave you a place. It gave you approval. It gave you the illusion of connection. But deep down, you were giving yourself away. One small yes at a time, to things that didn't align, to people who didn't ask how you were holding up, to cycles that drained your energy and never gave anything back. And the truth is, no one can take your time, but they will take whatever you don't protect. So eventually you reach a breaking point, not with the world, but with yourself. You stop trying to explain your exhaustion. You stop apologizing for not responding. You stop feeling guilty for needing space, because you finally realize you can't build a powerful life with your boundaries buried under guilt. You start to learn what your no really means. It's not rude, it's not rejection, it's responsibility for your mind, your time, and your future. No becomes a filter. It clears out the noise. It protects your mornings. It saves your energy for the work that actually moves you. You stop living in reaction mode. You stop saying yes just to avoid discomfort. You stop filling your schedule with things you've outgrown, and you become something very rare, focused. Now you say no without flinching, without guilt, without needing to explain. You walk away from drama. You turn down distractions. You choose your peace over their expectations. And everything changes. Your clarity returns. Your creativity returns. Your discipline returns. Because without the clutter, you can finally hear yourself think again. And the people who don't understand, let them go. Let them mislabel you. Let them call you distant, cold, too focused. That's fine. They're not building your life. You are. And you're done building it around other people's noise, because now, you know, your time is not public property. Your attention is not for rent. Your energy is not infinite. You don't belong to everyone anymore. You belong to your vision, your values, your future. And that decision, that's not selfish, it's sacred. You've tried saying yes to everything. You've tried being liked by everyone. You've tried being everywhere all at once. Available, helpful, agreeable. And where did it get you? Scattered, burned out, invisible in your own story. Because when you say yes to everyone else, you say no to yourself. Over and over until you forget what you even wanted in the first place. But here's the truth. You don't need to be everything to everyone. You need to be clear with yourself. Clarity is power, and clarity starts with boundaries. When you say no, you're not being harsh, you're being honest. You're not rejecting people, you're honoring your priorities. You're not closing the door, you're protecting what's inside. Because the more you say yes to things that don't matter, the less space you have for what does. Your discipline, it dies in the clutter. Your peace, it drowns in obligation. Your energy, it leaks out through every unguarded minute of your day. And no, this doesn't mean isolation. This doesn't mean arrogance. It means ownership. Because when you don't own your time, you become a tool in other people's plans, and your life becomes reaction, not direction. But when you start saying no, calmly, cleanly, unapologetically, you begin to move differently. You walk into your day with purpose. You protect your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. You stop living on defense and start living with precision. This is what power looks like. Not noise, not control, not domination. Discipline in action, boundaries in motion, clarity in full control. And the ones who truly belong in your life, they'll understand. Because they're building something too. So no more guilt. No more explaining your silence. No more apologizing for having limits. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to protect your path. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is the simplest word in the world. No.